Right, so those are the reactions that we received, and right now we are being joined by Aman Sharma on the broadcast. Aman, well, a very good morning to you. Firstly, the probability of this one nation, one poll right before the Lok Sabha 2024, we have constantly been speculating as to how fast can this be executed.
Well, see, one thing is very clear. We really don't know whether it will come before 2024 or not. But the seriousness of the government is very much evident here. The committee has been formed. See, so far there were other committees also formed earlier on the one nation, one poll issue. But largely the government was dependent on the Law Commission of India. And the matter was also referred to the Law Commission of India. That was the answer given in Parliament in July, that the government had asked the Law Commission of India to find a path to look at the various permutations, combination on this. Now, away from the Law Commission route, the government has now set up a committee under the former President of India, Mr. Ram Nath Kovind. That shows the seriousness of the exercise. We already see the BJP President is already at Mr. Kovind's residence, though the notification of that committee is still to be out. That also shows the BJP's seriousness towards this one nation, one poll idea, and the Prime Minister really investing in this idea, because I think the Narendra Modi government firmly believes that this is something that will lead to reform in the poll processes in the country. You know, all the time when we are in this poll mode, the election mode of model code of conduct comes and it, stops the development in that state for 2 to 3 months while the election period is on. So in a way, the government is very serious about it, but of course, there are challenges to it. If you look at the breakup in the various states, how they go to polls, 4 states already poll along with the Lok Sabha polls in the country. 5 states poll just 3 to 4 months before the Lok Sabha poll. This will be in December. And 4 other states poll about 5 to 7 months after the Lok Sabha elections every 5 years. So in a way, 13 states in a way poll either with the Lok Sabha polls or only 4 to 5 months ahead or behind the Lok Sabha polls. So maybe a consensus can be arrived regarding these 13 states in some way, but there are 15 other states where the poll schedule is almost 1 year to 3 years to 3.5 years variance with the Lok Sabha elections. So will these 15 states, and mind you, these 15 states include some very big states like UP, like Bihar, like Karnataka, like West Bengal, Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka in fact just went to polls. Gujarat went to polls earlier this year. Last year also we saw polls in Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh. So these big states, which have a huge difference in their time schedule from the Lok Sabha polls, how to get them in line with the Lok Sabha poll schedule is obviously a big challenge for the government, will be a big challenge for the Ram Nath Kovind committee as well. How to convince these political parties as well as these state CMs to either curtail their tenures or extend their tenures. It's a tricky task. Committees have earlier tried, the Law Commission has earlier tried, but not succeeded. But I think this time what is happening is that the government seems very serious about it, as I said, by 2 points. That one, setting up a committee under the former President of India, and we already see the BJP President visiting him, and this consultation process I expect with various political parties and various states will start very soon. With Mr. Kovind coming, but there is less chances, very unlikely that this bill on ONOP could come in the special session of Parliament as was being speculated, but clearly the government seems very determined and very eager to bring this bill as soon as possible, maybe before the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Depends on how fast this consultation process by Mr. Ram Nath Kovind will proceed.
Right, Aman. Aman, do stay with us on the broadcast. Right now we will move on to Arun Dhanta, who is outside Ram Nath Kovind's residence right now. Arun, coming to you, what all are we gathering from the ground there?
Well, very interesting details are emerging, and BJP Chief JP Nadda is inside the residence of former President Ram Nath Kovind. And this is the residence right behind me. This is the entrance gate of the former President Ram Nath Kovind, 12 Janpath, where BJP Chief JP Nadda has entered. And as we speak, BJP Chief is inside sitting with Ram Nath Kovind. And very interesting development, why I'm saying this, because of course you have a 5 days special session of the Parliament, which sources are telling us will take place in the new Parliament. But there is no clarity actually what is going to be the agenda of this 5-day special parliament session. But on the other hand, of course, this is a major development in which Ram Nath Kovind led panel will actually speak to all the stakeholders, and in fact it's a very exhaustive process and it will take time. But now, of course, government has set the record straight that they are working on this direction, because Prime Minister Modi has been talking about this on various instances, that there are multiple issues which the central government machinery is facing due to these elections which are taking place at different times. And in fact, we remember that starting from 1951 to 1967, there was a period when the simultaneous elections were taking place. That is also another challenge, that how it got disrupted, because after 1967 we saw that how few state assemblies got dissolved earlier, and therefore then that cycle got broken. So this is also going to be a major challenge when this time around this government actually decides to go ahead and take that decision of one nation, one poll. And of course it will have a huge role of the state assemblies as well. So it is not going to be an easy task for the Modi government to actually bring one nation, one poll. But of course they have taken the first step by forming this panel, which will be led by former President Ram Nath Kovind. So what is going to be the further nitty-gritties of this, who all are going to be the member of this panel, that is something which is unclear. But of course we can say that as Prime Minister Modi has been talking about one nation, one poll, how important it is, government has taken the first step in that direction.
Right. Arun, do continue being with us on the broadcast. Right now, I will bring Aman back into the conversation. Aman, like you were speaking about the challenges that might be faced by this particular committee. Aman, I will hold you. Right now, we also have Pallavi joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, right now, we were having this discussion where I was just going to ask Aman about this fact that the constant speculations that we are having is about the challenges that might be faced by this committee to have these elections, have the one nation, one poll. So in that particular sense, we see how the opposition is really rattled with this particular one nation, one poll committee being set up. So one particular question that keeps coming up is the fact that, do we believe that this particular one nation, one poll might shift the focus from the regional parties or the regional issues and bring it more to the national issues, which might be undermining in fact the local issues that are on the hand?
If you could repeat your question, please.
Right, Pallavi, I was just asking you about the fact that, does this one nation, one poll mean the fact that the regional issues, the local issues, this is something that the regional parties have constantly been focusing on, the regional and the local issues might get undermined by the national issues by this one nation, one poll?
No, I don't see the connection between the two of them. Actually, I don't think it's going to undermine any local issues. See, we have to understand what one nation, one poll means. It essentially means that the entire country goes simultaneously into poll mode. And there is no hard and fast rule that it benefits the party which is in power at the center or whoever wants to be in power at the center. I mean, if you look at Andhra Pradesh for that matter, which goes simultaneous polls with the Lok Sabha, along with Odisha, in both these states, the BJP is not in power, but the BJP is in power at the center. The push which comes in from the government and from, in this case, the Prime Minister himself, has been very simple, that, given the structure in our country, because of logistical reasons, because of security reasons, we are always in poll mode. So whether it's January to December, there are one election or the other which takes place, and during these elections there is a model code of conduct which is in place, which means many policy decisions cannot be announced, many development projects cannot be taken, and therefore it is very important to, one, save money, to save the logistical infrastructure, and also to ensure there is an ongoing process of policy making and development projects. It's best that you have one particular time frame in which you have elections, all of them together. Now the problem happens is, as I've been talking about since morning, the argument that if in 2024, for example, you decide to have both polls, what about states like Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka, which just came to power? They've got 4.5 years. Why would they want to give up on that kind of a time? So that is going to be one logistical problem. I think this is a work in progress. It's going to take quite some time because there are many procedures, many levels of discussion which need to take place. A former election commissioner and a former ex-CGI, all of them are going to be on the committee and all of them are going to be giving their inputs. How far is it possible on the ground? Constitutionally speaking, how quick it can be done. It's a constitutional amendment bill whenever it comes. So it requires an assent from at least 50% of the legislatures. And if in all those of them they are opposition parties, will they even agree to it? That's going to be a big problem. I think it's just testing the waters which has thrown in by the Kovind and to ensure what kind of a decision comes up among the opposition political parties and all political parties for that matter.